What is up, my loves? Today we're going to be playing in this gorgeous Yaki straight lace wig. We're going to be slaying her from start to finish, starting with the ball cap method, super duper detailed, and we're going to slay install her with no baby hair at all. This one here comes from Bestlacewigs. All the specs on her are listed in the description box, but let's go ahead and get started. Now, I still have an older wig from a previous tutorial, so I have to take that off and remove all glue and any residue from my hairline and make sure everything is clean for a clean install. I just take my 91% rubbing alcohol. I find mine in a spray bottle. I use a cotton pad to go ahead and clean the hairline and make sure there's no glue. Now we're going to go ahead and pick out our wig cap. Now you do want to find one that's closest to your skin tone. I buy these in bulk from Amazon, the ones on the left. I have those linked down below. And Bestlacewigs provided the one on the right. It is a little bit too dark. It definitely can work because I am, brown complected, but I prefer the one that I purchased from Amazon. And again, I get those in bulk by the dozen so that I never ever run out. You place it on your head kind of far in front, almost to your brow, so that it is very placed, and you want to make sure that that band part in the front is way in front of the hairline that you're going to create. I like to just poke a hole on each ear and pull my ear through. This is going to help the wig cap to lay super flat and flush around the ears. I did adopt this method from Glamazante. Shout out to her because she be slaying. And I'm going to go ahead and apply a thin or thick layer of the Got To Be Glue spray. You can use the black gel or the yellow gel. I just find that those tend to dry or take a much longer time to dry than the spray, and the spray works flawlessly, so you don't have to waste all that extra time. So I went ahead and sprayed my first layer. I went ahead and did some chores around the house, came back about 20 minutes later, and it was completely dry. You can always tell to the touch how dry it is. It kind of feels a little bit crispy, and you can just see that it's dry and there's no moisture left. So after that, I go ahead and apply a second layer, and I do take it behind the ear. That way everything lays flat, because where there is no bonding agent, no spray or no glue, it will kind of roll up once you cut the excess off. So for round 2, or my second coat of the spray, I did use my blow dryer on a cool setting. I kind of was pressed for time, so I wanted to go ahead and speed up the process. Now you will notice a little bit of a white cast as it dries. To me, this only happens whenever I use the blow dryer. It doesn't matter if I do it on a warm setting or a cool setting. I always get a white cast when I speed up the process with a blow dryer. Nonetheless, it works just the same, and I'll be putting powder on top, or you can put powder on the top if you want to cover that up, but allowing it to air dry gets you the most flawless finish, in my opinion. You see how it's still going to lay flat and flush and not roll up around or behind your ear? That is because we applied our spray behind the ear as well. So don't forget to do that step. It definitely makes a difference if you want the cap to lay flat and not be too bulky. I'm also going to cut off the excess cap as far back towards my nape as I can without cutting my hair, because I want it to lay flat. I don't want any extra cap or anything left over when it's all said and done. Now I'm going to go ahead and try and make this as seamless as possible. The goal with this method is just to make sure that it is flat and it's seamless and it looks as close to scalp, so that you can't see any hair, you can't see any bands, you can't see any rolled up anything. It just makes it look flawless, so that when you pluck and slay your hairline, you don't see any demarcation of where that cap is. So I just take and I press my scissors basically against my head, and I try to get as close as I can to cut off any excess cap. Now, don't obsess. What I find is that the more I do this, the more it will roll up, and you'll be here for an hour rolling up until there's no cap left. Trust me. I've done it many times, and I'm starting to do it now in this tutorial where I'm just trying to get it so perfect, and instead of just letting it be, I'm continuing to cut, and it's continuing to roll as I'm cutting, so it's kind of contradicting itself. Is that a word or a phrase? I don't even know. But take your time. I do kind of rush this method, I won't lie, and I still get a great result. Like I said before, the key is just to make sure that you don't see any cap underneath your wig, and that is always accomplished with this method. But the more you take your time, the more patient you are, the more flawless it will be. Now you see this color works great with my skin tone. Even though it's not my perfect skin tone, it does work great for a seamless finish, whereas the darker one would have been a little bit more brown and red, and whenever I put my lace on, it would make the lace appear a little bit more red, if that makes any sense. So finally, I'm going to go ahead and use the tail end of the rat tail comb and that same Got To Be glue spray, and I'm kind of going to press down the edges that are kind of rolling up and kind of let them re-melt. You can put you can put your scarf on to kind of help this to lay flat, but again, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm just trying to make this wig look flawless, but you know, it's all about preference. Take your time from the beginning and you'll make less mistakes. Now, if you've gotten this far and you realize the cap that you used was not the perfect color for your skin tone, instead of removing it and starting all over with a new cap, you can just use your foundation or foundation powder or your concealer or a bronzer or whatever you have that is as close to your skin tone as possible, and just go ahead with a big brush and apply it all over the lace to make a more flawless finish. Now here is the packaging and the actual wig. This is a 360 lace wig, and as you guys can see in the back, there's one comb adjustable straps. In the front, you can tell the lace has been bleached and the back has not. There are, 2 to 3 combs in the front, 1 in the back. I went ahead and added some foundation powder under the lace, and also I cut off the excess lace around the back so that I was ready to go. I did not add an elastic band because I just didn't need one this time around. And as you guys can see, I made a mistake. I should have tried the wig on first to see what the hairline looked like since it was already pre-plucked. And that was kind of a demo of what the hairline would look like with that bald cap. And of course, I'm also just showing you all around what the wig looks like straight out of the box. Now again, my error was adding that powder because normally it doesn't end up red. This is the Maybelline Fit Me that I always use in the darkest shade, but for some reason it just came up red. So you know, you live and you learn. It's all about trial and error, but when it's all said and done, the wig is going to look flawless. Now here I am trying to thin out the hairline. I don't want to make it too thin. I kind of want to keep it full to match the fullness of the rest of the wig, but I don't want it to be too boxy and too wiggy. So I'm just taking a pair of tweezers, going in a backward motion while holding on to the excess lace to kind of pull it taut. And I'm just kind of like pulling out a little bit, leave a space, pull out a little bit, leave a space. Now you're going to see I'm about to struggle. I don't know what it is. I could not find my brown tweezers that are like my everything. I have about 4 or 5 other tweezers in the house, and just none of them were cooperating on this day. So I kind of like the way I had the front hairline. So what I do is after I do the hairline, I will part out pretty much a row of hair and do the same method all the way across. Pull out or tweeze, leave a space, tweeze, leave a space, tweeze, leave a space. This is going to give me a flawless finish without making any bald spots, and it's also going to pretty much save on time. It's like a cheat way or easy way of tweezing out the hairline without being here for 45 minutes to an hour. I normally literally get this done in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. My only issue again was that my tweezers were not sharp. You see here how I'm plucking, it kind of is making it look more like a hole or a patch. That is not what you want, and that's why you want to make sure that your tweezers are super sharp. Now there are professionals out there who can, you know, use the dullest of scissors and make it for a flawless finish, but today I was not that professional. Here is where I started to have an issue. It felt like I was tweezing but nothing was coming up, and I was on I think my 3rd pair of tweezers at this point, so I decided to use the pull method to just thin out the area a little bit. I don't recommend the pull method because you're literally just pulling at your lace and you risk the chance of making a hole, but it did the job and worked for me. Now as much as it looks like I didn't do much, it did open up the hairline and just make it look a little bit more natural and not so boxy. Off camera, I went ahead and cut off that excess lace. I also tweezed out the opposite side, and as you guys can see, I bonded it down using the Got To Be glue spray. I love how the top center looks. The sides need a little bit of work, so I definitely am going to go back in on the sides from like where my brow arch is to my sideburn and thin that out to match, but I love the way it looks. Now for some of you, you may think, oh, you need to tweeze more. As long as there's no bald spots and it is a little bit open and not too boxy, I am pleased with it. I find that when you see your favorite celebrity on the red carpet, from Sierra, Beyonce, Rihanna, you never see them with these overplucked hairlines like you see us Instagram and YouTube girls do. So again, it's all about preference. Tomorrow you'll see me with an overplucked hairline looking like an Instagram baddie, and I'll be happy with that. But it is great to switch it up. Today we are doing no baby hair because I believe the majority of you prefer no baby hair. And I mean, sometimes it's great. You know, I'm a creature of habit, but you know, we're going with the majority today. So my two favorite agents to lay down my hairline are the foam lotion. Lotta Body has been my favorite as of late, and also the Care wax stick. You can use any wax stick. Care is just what I find in Sally's, and I like it. I'm trying this method just because I find that it works best with the hot comb, and I wanted to use a hot comb in this tutorial. But normally my holy grail is a good foam lotion. You lay it all over the top of the head and then you press it in with a flat iron, and to me that always looks the best. So you're gonna see I'm gonna end up going back to that in the end, but you know, I like to try different techniques, perfect those techniques to make sure that what I like is really what I like and not just what I'm settling for, if that makes any sense. But after I put that wax stick, it is a little bit how do you say it, oily in a way, like greasy if you are using it on like thinner lace wigs or your natural hair, so be careful. This wig definitely felt a little bit more full. It's 180% density, but it feels like 200, maybe even 250. So I didn't mind using the wax, and it definitely didn't make anything oily or greasy at all. And I just like to go along the hairline as well and make the hairline look as close to growing out of my scalp as possible. And this is pretty much the result. Now the more you take your time with each step from start to finish, the more flawless this is going to look. And again, if you choose to thin it out, that is definitely a great option if you want to thin it out even more. Now I'm creating my sideburns, and I just cut them a little bit below my jawline. Sometimes I like them longer than that, sometimes I like them shorter than that. Now I do have some flyaways up top, so I'm going to just add foam lotion. And this usually does the trick to lay everything flat for me. It definitely makes that sizzle noise. But as long as you're not leaving it in one spot too long, you're not going to burn yourself. And I just kind of feel like that makes that part look super flat. Now I just added a little bit of powder all the way around. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. I used my Maybelline Fit Me as always. To cook your ass. These are the finished results. Let me give you guys a close-up. Please enter your passcode. Now, if I did not mention, this wig did come courtesy of Bestlacewigs. Definitely worked with this company before, and this is the packaging that the wig came in. They actually sent me two wigs. They sent me this one, which is the Yaki straight, and they also sent me a curly wig. Stay tuned because next week I definitely will be reviewing the curly wig for you guys. Inside my box was of course the wig, but they also included a rat tail comb which has their website on it, bestlacewigs.com, and they provided me with a fresh baby hair brush. Ooh, I felt my baby kick when I did that. Sorry, baby. But this one is 18 inches, 180% density, and the texture is Yaki straight, and of course the wig itself is a natural color. I would have predicted that this was more than 180% density because it is definitely super full, not too heavy. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick one. Be sure to check out Bestlacewigs. All of the information on this wig is listed in the description bar for you guys to check out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.